I'm Wendy Capewell and the host of this podcast, which is all about relationships, the one with ourselves and the one with others. My guests and I will be sharing our experience and our views over the coming weeks. So, on with the show. So today, my lovely guest is Ambila Nath. She is a spiritual dating and relationship coach and an energy reader. And it's delightful because I've chatted to Ambila and we've decided actually we work in the same kind of way, but from a different angle. So we get the same results, but whereas mine, I think, is much more the neuroscience. It's more around that fact that I kind of base a lot of my work on. Whereas Ambila, you are more on the energy. So tell the listeners more about yourself.
Thank you so much. It's an honor being here and speaking to your listeners. With regards to myself, the word energy reader, to clarify what that basically means is that I tune into, because I'm very intuitive, hence why the title spiritual in front of the dating and relationship. I've now got myself to a level where I can read a person's energy. So I'm able to see what's going on within somebody's body and what traumas and other things they're holding on to. But as an energy reader, I also read tarots. So the flip end of that is that I'm able to look deeper into you and your thought process and what's going on, not just guide you in terms of your future is going to be sunny and rosy, but actually go, okay, this is where you're stuck and why you're stuck. So we're able to look at it in a deeper level, and that's how I work with my clients. We go, deep.
Sounds really, really interesting. And I think we decided we were going to talk today. I want to know more about how trauma affects relationships, because again, I believe that too. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, working with my clients, one of the major or frequent things that comes up is very much to do with their beliefs and mindset, and where and when they had the stop clock of, okay, I've had enough of dating, or it's not going to work for me, or I keep getting the same man, or I'm too old, or the restriction. So we look at the timeline of when did that happen, and then what was going on in your life. And also at that time, did you end up manifesting an ache or an alignment or something within your body that you kind of went, oh God, I've got a backache, or I've got a shoulder ache, or my shoulder's been playing up, or, something that you wouldn't associate it with that timeline, but you would just go, oh yeah, I started having back problems 10 years ago. But then going, yeah, but what happened in my life 10 years ago? So I had a lot of clients who were basically coming with regards to, yeah, this is what's happened. And I go in deep going, okay, let's look at how your body is reacting to it. Or sometimes it's not the body. Sometimes it can be a physical in our environment, because a lot of people become hoarders. A lot of people may start putting on weight. A lot of people may, end up having an addiction, shopping, spending too much money, or something along those lines that they wouldn't associate it necessarily with a relationship breakup or a heartache, but it's manifested because they're not actually addressing the deeper root of the problem.
Yes, it's interesting how people will take on those, as you say, addictions, and it's always I'm always intrigued with clients when, well, what was going on in your life at that point? When did it start? And it, you can find quite a lot of interesting stuff, and just making that connection.
Exactly. I mean, I've had clients who somehow mentally, and I'm a coach, I know all of this stuff, but I myself also go on journeys in terms of sorting out my own psyche and what's going on within me. Because as a coach, we're great at preaching, but when it actually comes to self-work, because we're busy, we kind of neglect ourselves. So sometimes you just have to do that process of going on and really looking at what is your body trying to tell you. What is it? Because one of the complaints my clients have constantly is that I can never find the right relationship. I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried X, and I keep on getting the same man or woman that keeps coming, into my life, and I just can't figure it out. So it's going, okay, well, let's look at why they keep coming up. What is it that the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, keeps on telling you that you're not addressing, that you're not seeing, the signs. People will turn around and go, oh yeah, I keep on forgetting things, I keep on dropping things, and we are so used to and conditioned to kind of going, okay, it's age related, or you've got too much stress, or something else is happening, and we're not actually listening to the messages that we're actually being given to go, okay, we need to look at it deeper. And so a lot of the work I do is making those connections, raising that awareness, because it's one of those things that if you don't know, you don't know. So it's not me going, God, you are ignorant that you don't know. It's the fact that even I was at that place, that I did not know what I'm looking for. So how on earth am I going to fix something I don't know what I'm looking for? I don't even know it exists. I'm bumbling along in my path. I have a happy life. I have a job. I have a career. I have a home. I may or may not have a partner. But nobody in my circle talks about energies, talks about, how you can manifest things. Nobody in my life is telling me that, okay, since I broke up with X, my house has become untidy and cluttered, and all of a sudden I've got too many bags, or shopping, or pointing out that maybe I'm spending a little bit too much money. Because for them, that's just, oh, okay, she's just broken up, so that's fine, that's, normal, she's just getting through a process. But because we've been through that life, we've been through that cycle, we've worked with our clients, we know the patterns, we see it immediately from them just saying one sentence to us, and we're like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. And until you have somebody telling you your story, you have no idea you're actually living a story. So it's, it's looking at it from that point of view.
So are you saying it may not, that the reason that person, a woman, for example, is she's resorted to retail therapy, that she's spending a lot more? Are you saying it's more than the breakup, or are you saying it could be deeper than that?
I'm saying it's a coping mechanism. That's basically what is manifesting. But it's looking at, if this is not your norm, that you've kind of had this for years, and you're just doing it periods of high stress or whatever, it's looking at that pattern of, why is it that every time I have a breakup I need to spend more money? And but again, you're not going to know or understand that pattern until you work with somebody who's a coach, expert, counselor, whatever you want to call us, who understands and sees that pattern. Because for a normal, I don't like using the word normal, but for a regular life cycle, most people will just go, oh, okay, it makes me feel good. It's great. It makes me feel good. But it's looking at it that, are you doing the feel good because you can afford it comfortably, and it's not putting debt and more strain on you and your life? Or are you doing it because, so that would be self-love, if you're doing it because you can afford it and it's comfortable and you want to have that appreciation for yourself. But if you're doing it because you think it gives you that diversion from pain, then you know something deeper is going on. And then it's looking into that. Because if you're buying something and it's giving you guilt rather than happiness, 2 hours after you've bought it, then you know something deeper is going on. But if you bought it and you're still happy the next day that you bought it, then that's great. That's self-love. You're appreciating yourself.
Yeah. And I think people do. They will use, in my experience, rather than sit with the pain and discomfort of a breakup, for example, which is normal, normal feelings due to a breakup. If you cut with someone, lose someone, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it in your heart. It's going to hurt a lot. And allowing yourself to sit with that is a healthy thing.
Yeah.
Knowing that hurts. And I don't know about you, but I think when our heart is broken, we feel the physical pain. There's physical pain around our heart.
Yeah.
Know I know what it is, and I don't want to go there. I'm not going to go with that. Well, that's why, because the practical side, I'm going to go with the fact it hurts because it's painful.
Yeah.
But people they struggle so much sitting with that pain, don't they? I think they use diversionary tactics.
Yeah.
To try and make it go away.
And
dating somebody else very quickly, for example.
Exactly.
Not in the right place, they haven't healed.
Exactly. And it's okay to do that. I am by no means saying that you shouldn't do that, because, as I said earlier, if you don't know, you don't know. So you're going to do what feels best. And even me being a coach and knowing all of these kinds of things, sometimes that pain can be so hard to deal with that you kind of go, okay, I'm going to just park it. But what I've noticed is that by taking that road, if you don't deal with it somewhere down the line, you might not be ready to deal with it there and then. You might need maybe weeks, months, sometimes up to a year, whatever, to deal with it. Absolutely fine. You take the process according to what you're ready to deal with. But it's dealing with it. That's the thing. You've got to do the process, because putting it in a box and hiding it somewhere and hoping it's just going to go away and disappear and that you're going to forget, that it actually doesn't exist. All you're doing is basically delaying the process. And what starts to happen on a subconscious level is that you start getting knocks on your door. It might start off, I basically use the analogy, I can't even say the word, where when the universe is sending you signals, basically they'll start as little raindrops, just very light, little. And if you're not heeding to that, because you're thinking, oh, it's just little raindrops, fine, I'll, cover myself up even deeper. I'll go and get an umbrella, Mac, whatever, wellies, and you keep on following that process, then one day it's going to send you a tsunami. And that will be you've got to do something about it. And that can, on extreme cases, be something physical. It can be something mental in the sense of PTSD. It can, be something more, but basically what it is that your body is going, I can't cope with this. I need to, really look at it. I need to go through that pain and process in order to, let it go. And what we do as experts, coaches, therapists, whatever, is give people that the tools, the skills, and that knowledge, awareness to actually realize what's going on and to actually guide them and support them. Because that's the biggest thing. I think people fear that they don't have that support. So it's easier to put it in a box because then they don't have to. But if you have support, if you have somebody who's empathizing with you, who's there to hold your hand, be it remotely, as we're all working at the moment, or be it on a physical level, it's knowing you're not alone. It's knowing that when you're having your emotional outbursts, you know, lying on your floor, that actually you can pick up that phone and talk to somebody and you're not alone. It's all of those things that help to empower and make the journey easier. But you and I both know it does manifest, and it's not a good process to go through.
No, I would agree, and I think the times when I've been through breakups in my life, and there have been times when I found, I think as I got to know myself better, then I realized that it's healthier to allow that process. Not saying for weeks, months, years, but I think something about, yes, of course, distraction is good along the way. We can't stay in that really bad place 24/7, weeks and days and months. We need that release. But I think when I've allowed myself to have a duvet day or feel down, I've allowed it. And I felt that when something's happened, I've healed quicker. That's my experience. It is painful. It really hurts. But I know, that's my experience. I find that just allowing myself to feel that feeling. Another concern I think, and I don't know what your feelings are, that when we delay that healing process, we start going through it and then retract from it. I think it is a sense of that keeps happening, and so we experience that pain. Don't go out the other side. So it's almost it's like jumping in a cold bath. You kind of step into it and go, oh no, I can't do this. Allow yourself to gradually submerge yourself into that cold bath. Then you won't have to go through that again. It's not as if you're putting your foot in and then taking it out and then I've got to try that again. Maybe that's not a good analogy, but
it's a great one, and I completely agree with you. It's the fear, because the fear is that once they're there, they're not going to come out of it, or they're going to struggle to come out of it. It's having that confidence, hence why I was saying regarding working with somebody who's an expert, working with somebody who's very close to you and know they will be there for you. Having those kind of coping support is the biggest thing. Knowing that there's somebody around who will, hold your hand, be there for you, guide you through that. That's the thing that will make you feel, okay, I've gone into the icy water. How the hell do I get myself out of it? But if you can actually see somebody standing there waiting for you with a warm towel and a warm drink and going, it's okay, I'm here, you can do this, that gives them greater confidence to go, great. But if you're saying to somebody that, okay, I'm going to give you all the tools, here, go away, do that, take the steps, walk into that cold water, and then go, but bye, and then wave them off and walk away, then panic stations start, because that pain sometimes is so deep that that cold water will just take over, and you will feel as though you're drowning, as opposed to going, oh, actually, this is okay, this is refreshing, this is, empowering, this is good, I'm feeling energized, I'm feeling so much better. So that's why I say, depending on the level of what you're going through, if you're dealing with it years later, then definitely have support and guidance. But if you're dealing with it, say, weeks or months or whatever, then I think, yes, having a supportive friend or family member, somebody, there at your side to be able to help you through that pain, that is definitely, a process to follow. But it's having that somebody who's encouraging, somebody who's empowering, rather than somebody who's going to take you more down and negative. So if you are getting that friends and family support, make sure they are going to be there for the positive, not bring you down further. So it's having the right support as well. That's important.
I'm thinking as well the fact that you brought up a really good point there when you said that there is that fear of starting the process, because I've heard definitely from clients, I'm so concerned that once I start that, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or if I start crying, if I open that box, if I take all that stuff out, then I'm really worried because I don't know what will happen, and it's really scary.
Yeah, I just want to dive in and give encouragement from personal experience, which I've just had recently. So I'll just share something very private, not related directly to intimate relationships, but it was a relationship because it was my sister. I lost my elder sister 3 years ago. So the grief of it was something I thought I had dealt with, but I actually hadn't. And part of it, exactly as we're just having the conversation, talking about trauma, talking about feelings and things that we don't deal with, I kind of put it in a box because I thought, I've dealt with it. I'm a coach. I know, the process and everything, but I hadn't looked at how it was actually affecting me and my life. And just recently, recent as 2 weeks ago, I went through the process myself. And day one, the beginning, is the most difficult and most traumatic. I won't ever hide that, because you're emptying that box. So all the memories, all the pain, everything is coming out. But I just want to give you that confidence and reassurance to the listeners that day one is the worst. Then after that, it starts to get better, because each day you're getting stronger. Each day that load you've been carrying is getting less heavier. Whereas I was reluctant to start this because I thought, oh my God, the whole process from beginning to end is going to get worse. I was seeing the scale getting worse rather than the scale getting better. And it actually starts to get better. So I really want to share that with them, that actually day one will be the worst, and then it just starts to get better because you get so much more empowered, you start to build more confidence, you start to build more better self-worth in yourself and who you are, and really see the situation from a 360 point of view, so that you can see everybody's role in it. And it's less painful than it being just you and you blaming yourself and carrying that guilt and whatever else it may be. But see the bigger picture.
I think that's really, really good advice, because and great insight, because I get, like you, I know when I've worked with clients, and even after the first session, they'll say, I feel so much lighter. And it's just being able to get it out, which is important because it gets trapped inside us. Able to verbalize it in some way or express it in some way, and have somebody, as you say, to guide and support and be there, and not judging. I think that's another thing that's so important.
Exactly.
That's the shame and the guilt that's attached to so many different issues.
And that's why I was saying that it's important that even if you don't work with a professional and it's a family and friend, that they are positive. Because having somebody by your side who from their point of view, is in that caring role and is supportive and wants to be there. But if all they're doing is encompassing you in more pain and guilt, then you're going to be less reluctant to want to shift it, because you're thinking, oh my God, I'm having more load added on rather than taken away. So so please be aware of who that support is going to be when you're going through that process. But it's really, really important. The clients I work with, like yourself, exactly as you said, the feedback that you get, the lightness that they begin to feel, because a lot of it is the fear than the actual process. It's the fear of what you're thinking will happen that is actually causing more pain than what actually happened. So, it's kind of having that realization of reality to, what you are imagining to be the case.
Fear of the unknown, or you built it up inside your own head so that it's actually got 10 times bigger than it really is. And I think that is that's the danger, isn't it? Because the longer you hold onto it, the longer, and the fear attached to it, and then we build on it, making it a much bigger monster.
Exactly.
It's like a monster, isn't it? Facing a monster.
Exactly.
Actually, That's really interesting. I've really enjoyed that. It's great.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So what is there one thing that you could, one tip, one suggestion, one thought that listeners could take away with themselves that they could maybe do it immediately?
I would basically say that if they have been through any relationship breakup or whatever, feeling of guilt and whatever, one thing is be kind to yourself. That's the most immediate loving thing. We give so much love to other people, but we never give that to ourselves. So I want to basically, one, yes, acknowledge that you've just had a horrible breakup or are going through pain of whatever it may be. But secondly, love yourself more than you normally would. And, really be kind to yourself through that process. And that will help with the healing. So being kind to yourself is doing things that you love to do. So, having a duvet day, meeting friends, and just catching up on crappy TV, reading great books, going for walks, whatever it may be. But just love yourself a lot more than you normally would.
And I think that's the really, really wise words and great advice, because I think we so often, when we're, especially in a breaking relationship, that first bit is blaming ourselves. What did I do wrong? It was my that can be one of the things, and that's not very helpful, especially when you're hurting so much. I think when you've got over that immediate hurt, I think then we can look at the part we played in it, or the part they played in it. I think, But that initial one, we do need that nurturing, that comfort, that caring, that loving of ourselves.
Completely.
Thank you so much today. I've really enjoyed.
Me too.
It's been so good. What's the best way of people getting in touch with you? I will put all the details in the show notes so that people can find you, all your social media and how to contact you. But what's an easy way for people to contact you if they're just listening?
I'm the most active on Facebook, and you will basically be able to have an immediate conversation with me on Facebook as well. So just find me on Facebook, and it's really easy. It's just my full name. You can't go wrong.
Okay, brilliant. That's great. Thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find all the details in the show notes. I'd also love to hear from you. Maybe you want to learn more about me, or to suggest areas you'd like me to cover in the future. You can do both those things through my website, wendykatewell.co.uk. So until next time. Bye.